12-5. That's not bad. I think we do a little better with Aaron Rodgers.
George Pickens, bro, that's huge for our offense. I think Arteta's on the hot seat. If he doesn't get any trophy done this thing, I'm not talking Carabao Cup, people. I'm talking at least an FA Cup, pushing for Prem.
Scotty Scheffler in dominant fashion taking the Open Championship.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the From the Stands podcast. I am back with my good buddy Stallone for the 72nd episode of the From the Stands podcast. Back on this July 25th, 2025, a little bit of in the dog days of sports, as we like to say here on the pod. Actual dog days now, because we don't even have soccer tournaments or we're done with the majors for golf now, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Really not too much going on. So, but we do have a little podcast for you guys. We'll get into some transfer talk in the soccer world overseas. We'll get into a little NFL preseason with all the training camps and stuff going on. And then, like I said, at the end, we'll go over a little golf, a little Scotty Scheffler. So obviously both of ours, our favorite golfer. So we'll get into that in just a second. But Fezzy boy, what's been going on in your neck of the woods here? You got a little staycation, a little weekend action going on here. A little golf as well has been pretty prevalent in your life here recently.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, playing golf on Sunday. Tonight we're going to start our staycation. Just a little context for that. Every year, my family back in New York, my uncle has a lake house. We go to the lake house for a week every year in the summer.
So lit.
And that's just like our family vacation that we do every year. But unfortunately, last year, Owen was being born around this time, so we couldn't go to New York because it would have been really bad if we were stuck in New York and we couldn't make it back to get 12 hours away. That just wouldn't have worked. And then this year, Owen's birthday and some other trips ended up being too close to the vacation. And in a world that exists around money, we don't have enough to go to all the trips that we want to take. So we had to cut out one, and we ended up cutting out family vacation. So hopefully we can go next year, but we're going to make the most of this weekend and this week, kind of do a little staycation. As Sammy Boy said, I will be playing some golf, going fishing, going to the lake, going to the pool, doing all those things. So it's going to be a fun little weekend, though. You said it's supposed to be a hot one this weekend.
So hot. It's supposed to be hitting the hundreds at peak heat time during the day.
Oh my gosh, dude. I have just been dying this week. I've been working in a garage, so it's just it's just burning in the garage this past week, and I'm just I've been sweating. I think I've lost 20 pounds of water weight this week, or something like that.
Good. You gotta stay hydrated, though, for sure.
At
least you got a little shade, I guess, in the garage, but
that's true.
Just probably there's no airflow or anything getting through there. But yeah, I definitely had some some yard work and some outside plans this weekend, but not really sure how that's going to pan out. If it's going to be 105 outside, you just lose all motivation to even step foot in the outdoors. But yeah, we'll see. No, it's super lit that you have a little weekend staycation type thing going on. In the realm of adulting and money and all that stuff, it's definitely hard to get everywhere, but we always have money for golf, so
that's right. That's right.
Weekend, so but yeah, not too much going on in my neck of the woods either. Like I said, just kind of a normal weekend. Maybe play some basketball tomorrow or whatever. Not too much going on. But yeah, without further ado, we'll get into the NFL preseason portion of this podcast. Alrighty, talking a little NFL, something we haven't done too much in the last few months here, but we do actually have some people on a football field, even though it is training camp, practice, things like that going on. It is cool to see, some of your favorite teams and favorite players on a football field making plays. So, that's how you know that the football season is not too far from our TV screens here in the fall. So I guess we'll just kind of dive into some of the preseason talk. One of the big reasons we were talking about this is just because that Jets almost had a scare with Justin Fields going down, having to be carted off the field yesterday morning. at the training camp that the Jets were holding. Ended up not being that big of a deal, but the way that it was being covered, and obviously the fact that he was carted off, made it seem like it might have been, ACL, Achilles, something like that, where it's a lot more serious, where he may be out, for the whole season. I know Mike Greenberg was on there saying that, having his little rant where he can't have anything nice and blah, blah. But ultimately not to be. It was just a dislocated toe here, and he was back out on the practice field this morning with no limitations, really. So a little bit of a crisis averted there for the Jets.
I'd say so.
But that would have been an absolute disaster having Justin Fields go down if that was really the case. And really, really sad for, I was telling you this before we started here. I would just love to see a team finally give him the keys to their franchise and really give him a shot with some decent weapons around him here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. When I saw that, I was just like, the Jets fans cannot catch a break. Because at first, when I saw it, I was just like, dude, how bad is it? He had to get carted off the field. Like, imagine it's an Achilles or something like that. But
Right.
obviously, it was just a dislocated toe, so he'll be fine. Come regular season. But yeah, it was definitely a scary time. I didn't see the Greeny rant that you were alluding to off pod. I'm assuming that was probably pretty entertaining because I know he was super high on Aaron Rodgers when he came. Like, he had this whole like spiel when it
Good
happened.
reason.
It was just like,
yeah,
for good reason. Everyone was super high, especially what was that 3 years ago now? Like,
dude.
That's wild. Thinking that that's 3
2
years
full
ago.
seasons. So
yeah. So, but then like obviously his first season ending in injury 4 plays into the regular season. The Jets just can't catch a break. But it'll be cool to see Justin Fields with like confidence like instilled in him from a coach, like saying, hey, we signed you to 2 years, which means we're not like one and done in you. We're going to give you a good run of games and we're going to use you how people probably should use you, which is a more of a running quarterback, but like a dual threat quarterback as well. So it'll be interesting to see, but glad he's not out for the season or something like that.
Yeah. And they also didn't sign some like 10, 12-year NFL vet like the Steelers did that they intend to start after they sign him. So that's, obviously a good thing as well. So I'm excited to see him play as well. He's wearing that number 7 jersey. I just think quarterbacks look dope in that number 7 jersey. And I'm always going to be a believer that obviously Aaron Rodgers' time at the Jets did not turn out well, especially in that second season. But if he doesn't go down, dude, in that first season, like I know it didn't look great in the second season, but that's when they had like all the pieces. They were seemingly loaded at every position. Sauce Gardner was playing a lot better. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what they could have put together if he would not have blown his Achilles, but we will never know the answer to that question. So one more thing before I wanted to dive into the NFL schedule prediction that we have coming up here. Did you see JJ Watt's tweet earlier in the week about just going off on like NFL media and like training camp stuff? Did you see that?
I didn't see that. I thought you were going to say the tweet about Jerry Jones and his comments about Micah and stuff like that. But
I
didn't see this tweet, but he has good tweets. So I'm interested to
I love his tweets because they're always like level-headed but not too serious, where he's not like a KD who's going to take something so seriously. Like he messes around, but then like his serious tweets like this one are like completely based and like very, I don't know, like they're just rooted in logic. But basically the context was that he gets really annoyed at like the NFL media just kind of I guess nitpicking certain plays and certain videos. Like, for example, the Jackson Dart throwing an interception, that one was kind of making the rounds and stuff.
Yeah.
He was getting really annoyed at that because like so many of these plays in training camp, like you have no idea like the concept or like whatever they're trying to run. Like it may be heavily defense oriented where like they know that he's going to throw this way, or like maybe it's like geared toward the offense where they're trying to run a specific play or whatever. So it's kind of stupid when like the NFL and like Twitter will try to run with stuff. Be like, oh, he sucks. He can't do this. He can't even whatever.
Yeah.
When it's just not that way at all. So I felt like that was, really, really solid stuff from JJ Watt. And obviously his Micah thing was accurate as well. But I'm not sure if you had anything to add to that. But just love JJ. I wish he was still playing.
Yeah, same dude. I wouldn't say he was one of my favorite players, but he was a fun player to watch, especially on the side of the ball that like people don't necessarily pay attention to. But he was like, I mean, I know the stats for TJ. I think he's going to end up probably being better than his brother statistically. But even TJ
Which
has
is
been on record saying like there was like a stretch of like seasons where JJ was literally unguardable. Like you can find clips where he's beating like legitimately double, triple teams and getting to the quarterback. Like the dude was a monster. But like I love how like I love him being an analyst because like you said, he comes from such a logical mindset that like you can agree with him or disagree with him, but like it's not exaggerated like the jab he was taking against like sports media in general with these training camps. I saw the clip of Jackson Dart, and I'm just like, yeah, that looks bad, but like, I mean, what do you expect? It's a rookie in his first play in a NFL like preseason camp. Like, I mean, of course, like give him some time to adapt. But no, I love JJ. Kind of always have for a while, but yeah, I think it's cool that he's standing up for these guys.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, just all of his tweets are like super level headed and stuff. And yeah, I mean, absolutely incredible player. It's kind of hard to believe that TJ might end up with a better career than JJ,
Right.
just because JJ set such a high bar for him. I mean, he was
Mm-hmm.
multiple defensive player of the year, um, led the league in sacks multiple years. Should have really won like an all around MVP in I think it
Yeah.
was 2014, I want to say. So absolute monster, but yeah, it's just crazy what TJ's been able to put together too. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see. I always wanted to see them play together, dude. Like when JJ was kind of when he was done with the Texans, he had so many options. I always
Mm-hmm.
thought the Arizona move was kind of weird, but even after he was done with Arizona, like there were rumors floating around about him going like signing a 1 year with the Steelers, or even like just waiting the season out and just signing on for them for the playoffs. I was like, dude, that would have been
Mm-hmm.
lit to
I
see
know,
that.
dude.
So
So cool.
and then Derek, their other brother Derek, was still on the team at the time. Three brothers on one team would have been sweet. But
That would have been awesome.
yeah. But now that the preseason is kind of coming in the next week or so, we won't have a Thursday without football until all the way in February. So
Wow.
the
Let's
football
go.
season is upon us. And we wanted to dive into kind of the schedule, I guess, for both of our favorite teams, and get a little schedule prediction here. We might dive into a little bit more details and stuff, into some predictions and stuff, maybe next week for the NFL. But as kind of a precursor to the preseason and everything, we're just kind of going to run down the 17 games that both of our teams are going to be playing and kind of predict each game and see how the record looks at the end of the year and see if we're close. And
Yes,
maybe we'll
sir.
revisit this in at the end of at the end of the season in December, and maybe we'll be right, maybe we'll be completely wrong. So,
Maybe.
Fezzy boy, you want to take it away with the Pittsburgh Steelers side here?
Sure. If you guys have been following the pod for any amount of time, you all know that I root for the Steelers, a little bit of a diehard, and I have no reason to root for them. I think you can call me a bandwagon fan, but I think, was it '06? I think it was '06. It was the Seattle and Steelers Super Bowl. And that was like my first memory of watching the NFL, to be like completely honest. And the Steelers won. And I was like, dude, black and white looks pretty cool. They just won the Super Bowl. We're gonna ride with them. So you can call me a bandwagoner or not, but there's a little context to that. All right, let's get into this regular season schedule. Starting off week 1, we got the New York Jets, a little revenge game for Aaron Rodgers coming in. I'm gonna take the Steelers in this one just because we're gonna have all the hype behind us. You know, like I just said, Aaron Rodgers going back to his former team that kind of gave him the boot after 2 years. I think Tomlin's obviously the better coach opposed to the first-time coach in Aaron Glenn. We have the better overall quarterback, I guess you'd say, even though Justin Fields is younger. I just think in general we're going to win this game. Week 2, help me keep track of like the actual record I'm putting together here because I can't in my head. All right, moving on. Week 2, we got Seattle. I think that's a win, so we'll just tick that off. I think Darnold's probably the best player they have in my mind right now, and that's not saying much. New England. This one's tough because a lot of people are high on New England, especially with Vrabel. And they can't remember the coordinator's name that they just got back. McDaniels, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Their second year quarterback's a wild card, man. He was playing
I feel
really
like they're
well.
going to be like a 50-50 team like every week. Like they
Yeah.
could put up a stinker like give up 40 points, or they could
Yeah.
like sneak around, like be close at the end.
Yeah.
But I don't think
This
that
is
they're
it.
going to be in the playoffs. But
You think
yeah,
so, or?
I do not think
Oh,
so.
you do not? Okay, that was my question. I was gonna say this isn't really the segment that we're doing, but I wanted to see if what you thought on them being in the playoffs. I have no idea.
I
I mean,
don't.
I'm sure Peter thinks they're winning the Super Bowl, but
Right, exactly. But no,
but
I think some of their moves have been a little bit overrated. I think Vrabel's incredible. I think McDaniel, obviously he sucked everywhere but New England, so he'll
yeah,
probably be okay there. Drake
amazing
May is good,
coordinator. Yeah,
huh? Yeah. Drake May is good, but I just don't think that they really have, like, they didn't get that much better. Like, maybe I'm a little bit of a casual as far as the Patriots go, but like
yeah,
Stephon Diggs, second team in 2 years, coming off a huge injury, 30,
right,
31, 32, whatever he is. Like,
right,
that's when receivers start to kind of hit the
yeah,
wall. So I don't think
definitely,
they're going to be as good as maybe some Pats fans think, but we'll see.
definitely. All right, yeah, I don't think New England makes it either, but I'm gonna say
So
that. Go ahead. What were
that's
you
what I was
saying?
going to say. Is it a win or a loss there?
I think I'm gonna go win just because it's the third week of the season, so it's early.
It's early
So
for them, yeah.
if New England's gonna make a run, it's gonna be later with a young quarterback, a new coach, and a new OC. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go. We're starting off 3-0. This is where it starts getting a little hairy because I'm not sure what McCarthy's gonna be. No one is, and there's
Yeah.
different. I've heard different reports coming out that he's like, oh yeah, this is the next one for Minnesota, or he's lost a lot of weight, he's not really showing the talent that they thought he had, so it's
Yeah.
it's super interesting.
That one's in Europe too, by the way. So
That one's in Europe. That changes things here. So it's week 4. I think it'll be, I can't have them starting 4-0 go to the bye, can I?
bro, all the hype's gonna be on you guys if you start
Oh
out
my
4-0.
goodness, 4-0. All right,
They'll
let's
be in
do it. 4
Dublin.
4-0, 4-0 in Dublin, going into the
Wow.
bye week. We start 4-0 heading into
Super
week
early
5.
bye. That's ridiculous.
Super early bye, which might help us for sure. All right, moving on. Cleveland, obviously a win. They're probably going to be the worst team in the NFL going into this season. All right, this is where I think we take our first loss because I don't think it depends on their defense. I think Cincinnati will have a slightly improved defense.
Still trash though.
Our offense will not be. Our offense cannot put up points with Cincinnati. It's going to be a defensive game. So I'm going to go. This is going to be our first loss just because I think that Cincinnati will pull it off because, I don't know, they could be reeling after the first 4 games of the season, or 5 for them. And
yeah, when they start out 1-4 or whatever.
exactly. I think they catch us
True.
after an easy game, which is basically like back-to-back buys, bye to Cleveland. So I think we lose to Cincinnati. Week 8, Green Bay. I'm gonna say loss again. I think Green Bay is just a better team. A lot of people are really high on Jordan Love again this year. Some have him in the MVP running. So I think we lose to Green Bay. Indianapolis. Sorry, Micah. I know it's your birthday today. Happy birthday! But I think we smoke Indianapolis. Maybe not smoke, but we definitely beat them. Week 10. This one's a bit of a toss-up. No idea what LA is gonna be. I'm gonna go Najee Harris. Maybe revenge game. I think they'll be improved. I think they have the better players. I'm gonna go. We lose to LA. Second time against Cincinnati. I think we beat them. Obviously, like I said, Cincinnati's defense wasn't good last year. Maybe slightly improved this year, but I think we figured them out after that first game. We beat them. Chicago wild card. I've heard some things about their quarterback not doing too hot. Obviously, it was like first week of preseason camp, so who knows?
They should be improved though from last
They should be improved. Their defense is always relatively good. I'm gonna say we beat Chicago just because I'm not totally sure if it's anything like last year. We definitely beat them. Buffalo, no chance. We're losing to Buffalo. They got the reigning MVP. They re-signed their young core. Great head coach. Buffalo is a juggernaut. Baltimore. This is where I have to be strategic. We always get one against Baltimore, sometimes 2, but we always get one. Is it at the end of the season or the beginning of the season? I think the first one we always do better because it's the first matchup of the year going head to head.
Both of these are kind of late in the season here.
They are late in the season, so I think I'm going to take the first one against Baltimore. We always get one. Week 14 win against Baltimore. Miami, we win. Detroit, again, up in the air, not sure. Really, really good coach. They lost both of their coordinators, though. So it'll be interesting to see how they do replacing them. I'm going to go. Dude, this one's so hard. I guess I'm gonna lean Steelers just because they're my team. So I'm gonna ride with them. I'm gonna go us over Detroit. We beat Cleveland again. Like I said, Cleveland might not even win a game up to this point. So we beat Cleveland, and then I think we lose to Baltimore to end the season. So yeah, what was that? I totally lost track of what I got. I got 4 wins starting off, 5.
That is
5-1.
13 and or no 12. Sorry, you're 12-5.
12-5. Honestly, I'll take that. That's not bad. I think we do a little better with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback this year. He doesn't have to put the entire team on his back.
It's a whole lot better than 8-8.
Yeah,
we've been for several years now. So
our team, our defense is always like good, like above average to good to really good to great. Like we're always in that range. Yeah. So I think 12-5 is. I think that's decent. I wasn't even keeping track of that, but that's decent.
Yeah, it's either I think it's 12-5. But yeah, I pretty much agree with honestly most of that. I mean, biggest thing being that like I think the Baltimore thing really swings things, but like you said, you always win one of those. Buffalo, you'll probably get waxed.
Yeah,
and the other teams are pretty accessible. Like,
yeah,
I mean, you'll beat Miami, you'll beat New England, you'll beat Cleveland twice. Like,
yeah,
I mean, you'll probably be okay.
Yeah, like I think Cincinnati gets one just because they're putting up like 60 points a game. So like I think Cincinnati gets one against us. LA was the one that I chose that I think they actually end up beating us just because Harbaugh in year 2 always does better with the players that he has. Chicago.
But I could also see like depending like if this is a dumpster fire, obviously a massive success by like the Buffalo, Detroit, like that could be a game. Like Buffalo might not be quite as much of a juggernaut as we think, and the Steelers might be better than we think. So like let's say the Steelers are better than we think. Detroit's not going to be as much of a juggernaut this year, I don't think. So like I mean, you never know with those games. So you guys could be on track for a really good season.
A little risky giving us a 4-0 start, but I mean, we're going to ride with it. I think we always start off hot, so maybe we do that. Maybe we do that again.
Honestly, in those first 5 games, including the Cleveland game in week 6, I think the game that you have to worry about the most is the New York game, dude. Like, I think Justin Fields is going to be coming with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. New look Jets. You know, Garrett Wilson going to be playing with a little bit more. So new coach, like you never really know with them. But
that's true.
Yeah, I think the other 4 might be locked.
All right, Sammy boy.
All righty, let's get over to the old Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, sir.
Big time comeback. Hopefully, make the playoffs this year. The NFL did not give us a gracious week 1 matchup. We're playing the defending NFL champs here with the Philadelphia Eagles. I feel like so many of these games, dude, are just going to be like 50-50s. But like, I mean, I really don't know. I'm going to give us a loss, though. I'm going to give it a really, really close. I think we probably take the lead early in the first half. And then maybe if Philly comes back, obviously, kind of experience. They still have a loaded roster from last year, even though we always play Philly close, even though, it doesn't matter what kind of roster that they have or we have, it's always a close game. So I'll give that one to Philly, though, just by a hair. So
okay.
New York's a dub. Chicago, a little bit of a tougher game than New York, but I think that we get that one done as well. Then we play Green Bay in week 4. Green Bay always beats us, bro. Literally every single time. But this one we got at home. That's going to be on a Sunday night. That's going to be a really, really fun game to watch. I'll give Green Bay the dub on this one just because I think that they have a more solid team. Way better rounded this year than they were last year. So as that puts like 2-2. New York, again, like I was saying with you guys, frisky team here, but I think we get it done. I think we'll be kind of going through the motions at this point, getting the gears oiled up and everything. I think we get it done. And at New York, Carolina, that's a dub. Washington, man, this is the ones before I was like, this is 2 wins every year, easy. But yeah, obviously Washington's going to be a lot tougher. I think we take this first one though at home on a Sunday afternoon. Wow. I think we get that one done by a smidge though. But are you keeping track of the records? I'm assuming.
I can. I was doing it on the side. Yep.
Was it 2-2, 3-2, 4-2? So we're at 5-2 right now, going into Denver. I'm gonna give us the dub in Denver too.
Wow.
Even though I'm really nervous about that because I really like their quarterback. They're going to be playing with something to prove this season. I think that they're going to make the playoffs probably in the AFC, but I'll give us the edge in that one. Arizona. I feel like I'm racking up too many wins in a row here. I'm scaring myself, but I'm going to go we win against Arizona.
Wow.
I mean, what does Arizona have that's going to, really
Kyler Murray,
Kyler
5'4",
Murray doesn't impress me.
whatever.
Come on, bro. What are we doing here? At Las Vegas, that's a win. I'll say that's a win. They don't have too much going on over there either. Philly, that's another loss, I think. I feel like we're going to be coming into that game. This is what we always do in the second matchup against Philly. We come in like on a 4 or 5 game win streak, which based on our predictions we will be doing here, Philly probably will have a good record, but look like they have weaknesses. Cowboys fans will get super hyped, basically guarantee the win, and then we're going to fall flat on our faces against Philly. So I'm going to put that one as a loss. That really pains me because that's putting us 2 down on the year against the Eagles. So I'm really hoping that's not the case. But, yeah, it's a loss. Versus Kansas City, Thanksgiving weekend, that's going to be a very good game. Keep an eye out on the ratings for that one. They're talking about that one being one of the most watched games. It's not a Super Bowl all time. So, but I do think Kansas City beats us, unfortunately. I'll take a loss on that one. Detroit. If my predictions are true, 2-loss streak here. I think
2-loss.
I think we lose to Detroit as well. I think.
Wow.
3 in a row there on the bounce. So, yeah, I definitely give us, a good chance in that game. I think it'd be a close game, probably come down to the end, but they'll probably find a way to grind that one out as they always do. It's at Detroit as well. So, versus Minnesota, that's a win. I'm not a believer in JJ McCarthy or really anybody that they have going on over there except for Justin Jefferson. I like him a lot. I think their defense is improved, but I do think we get it done at home after dropping 3 straight games. So, Los Angeles, impressed with their moves over the summer, but I think we get it done against them as well. I do want Herbert to be good, but it just doesn't feel like he's able to make that next step and take that next step into the elite category. So I do have us winning that game. At Washington, I said we're going to lose the first game, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, you said squeak it out.
Squeak it out at home, right?
Yep.
I think no matter what, we'll probably split with Washington. So I'll put that as a loss. Okay. That'll be at Washington. Who knows what the playoff picture will look like at that point. And that's on Christmas Day. That'll be a good game too.
Great game.
So that's, unfortunately it's a loss. But New York win. I mean, Dak has this insane record against New York. He's like never lost, I don't think. And that's it, going back to like 2017 or whatever, something crazy. So I don't think that will change. I think we get it done against New York on the final game day of the season. So what does that put us there? 11 wins?
I think I'm missing one. Yeah, you have 11 wins. I have 11-6. I'm missing one somewhere. So you had a loss.
That's right. There's 17 games. 11-6.
Oh, that's a flex game. That's what was throwing me off. I was like, I feel like I'm missing one, but no, that's the flex game that they have.
Yeah,
right
it's
there,
always the last week of the season they figure out.
I was like, they didn't had a week already. I would have seen that, right? No, that definitely threw me for a loop. Yeah, 11-6. So one worse than the Steelers are going to do. So it'll be interesting to see if our predictions come to fruition or not. Like, at least see if we pick the right amount of games. Like, that's always the thing. Like, I didn't look at the actual like win totals that like Vegas has for each of our teams, but betting the over or under on that, which gets a little interesting.
Honestly, the way we overperformed last year with like the lack of talent, frankly, that we had, especially at quarterback and on defense and everything, and the way that we were able to put up a somewhat decent season down the stretch in the second half, like gives me a lot of hope. Hopefully our defense is much improved. George Pickens, bro, that's huge for our offense.
That's huge.
I'm not sure who's going to play running back at this point, but if we have 2 wide receiver ones, I'm hoping we don't have to run the ball too much. So,
right,
we'll see. But yeah, That's kind of our predictions for our teams. Not sure how much that will be well received, just because our teams are our favorite doesn't mean that you guys necessarily care about those teams. But yeah, it's a little look into how we think our teams are going to do. But that'll kind of conclude the NFL portion of this podcast here, and we'll get into a little world football here in just a moment. So stay tuned for that. Hopping over the pond for real this time, just because we are finally done with all the stateside tournaments and everything that we had going on. So now it basically shifts almost exclusively to transfer talk, and seeing who your favorite teams are going to get. Some of the biggest names that are kind of hopping teams are just moving for one reason or another. We'll get into our two favorite teams here and talk about them a little bit before we touch on some of the other bigger transfers going on in the soccer world here. But Arsenal having a very busy summer overall, signing 5 or 6 players here. Signing Norgard from Brentford for a very good 11, 12 million. Zubimendi, which was agreed upon at the end of last season. Mosquera, we just signed from Valencia for a nice 13 million. He's a pretty good defender, young defender. Madueke, we got for a hefty price from Chelsea. I don't know what the heck we're doing with that. 60 mil. That's ridiculous. And then the big one, Gyökeres from Sporting, which was my favorite get of the summer. Obviously wanted him since last year. Absolutely massive for us to finally get a clinical striker like that. Chelsea have kind of been a little bit quieter than they usually are, maybe around this time of year, but they do have a couple big names coming in. Obviously, Joao Pedro, he's already made his debut in the Club World Cup and everything, bagged several goals already for you guys. And then Jamie Gittins from Dortmund. He's actually a British player there, kind of brought up by Dortmund, but Dortmund, as they usually do, cashing in pretty heavily on their player here, as Chelsea snap him up for about 65 million, I think it was. So what are your initial thoughts here about our two London teams here? Just kind of going, I wouldn't say crazy necessarily, but my team definitely splashing the cash. But how do you think that each of these players individually will kind of help their seasons going into the season?
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of touched on Chelsea just with their run in the Club World Cup. So my thoughts on them, I'll get into it a little bit, but I'm definitely more I'm kind of impressed with your off season. I mean, some of these players, especially the striker from Sporting. I almost said Porting. Losing my mind here. In Portugal from Sporting. Surprised he didn't go to Manchester United just because his ex-coach is obviously there. There were a lot of talks and connections with him going there. They actually just signed the striker from Brentford, so that would be interesting to see how that goes. But no, I really like
him playing in Europe this year. He's probably I want to play champs, bro.
Yeah, for real. No, but a lot of I think these are a lot of good signings for you guys. Obviously you needed that go-to striker, that guy that'll get you 20 plus goals a season. Really that focal point at the top of your attack for sure. I think kind of like what we've alluded to on the podcast in the last several pods, but just Arsenal, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, always coming in second, kind of always making a push, but then it's either Liverpool or Manchester City. And those teams aren't going anywhere. Manchester City is just going to be better with all the money that they spend. Liverpool's loading up and they're looking good again. We'll touch on a couple of their signings that they're looking to get coming up in this segment. But no, super high on Arsenal. I think they're really pushing to, win the Premier League. I know there's a lot of talk around Arteta. Can he get it done? And he's trying, man. He's trying. They gave him plenty of money to go out there and sign the players that he wants. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys can put together this season.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, getting a striker is huge. I feel like it's kind of been on Arteta to obviously we've always given him quite a bit of money every summer, but he just hasn't been able to sign a striker that he wants. And hopefully, obviously, Gyökeres now has the keys to that number 9 position. He's going to be the week in, week out starter there. I think pretty obviously that we can finally bag some goals. The service is going to be, is going to be there, obviously, with the guys that we have, running the midfield and everything. So just be on him to bag those goals for us. I think the other pieces are definitely great role players. We need to get a lot deeper because besides our starting 11, we were kind of thin. Mosquera is a great young defender from Spain. Zubimendi, I think he's kind of up and coming. He was a pretty big player for Spain in their Euros last summer. Madueke, I think he's fine. He's a good depth winger, but I hate how much money we paid for him.
Yeah,
Just because
that's
I was
not
really
much.
hoping we were really in heated talks with Madrid about getting Rodrigo before signing him, and we're still kind of in there. But after spending 60 mil, I don't think they're going to spend another 70 to get Rodrigo. So we'll see. But yeah, definitely address some areas of need. And I completely agree. I think Arteta's on the hot seat. I think he should have been on the hot seat from last year, and we've given him basically everything he needs. And he's had a team that's been able to win a trophy for several years now, and it's kind of known across the continent that we haven't won a trophy since 2020. I mean, we were wearing masks to that point, right? So like,
Right.
yeah, definitely. I think that if he doesn't get any trophy done this thing, I'm not talking Carabao Cup, people. I'm talking at least an FA Cup, pushing for Prem, hopefully winning it, getting late into the Champions League again. I think he might be on a very hot seat towards the end of the season here. At least I'm hoping
Yeah.
he will. But
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea get better too. Obviously, Joao Pedro, we know who he is. He's taking no time to kind of settle in there. Then Gittins from Dortmund, very good player. I've always kind of watched Dortmund, when they're on for Bundesliga and stuff, and he's a good, crafty player. Should be good for you guys. I don't know. You guys have like about 43 wingers now, so we'll see
So
what you guys do with the logjam there. But
we got to get people off the books, dude. We got like old players like sitting on the books from like even players from like our Champions League win that are just like they're not in the squad, but they're still on the books. They're still at training. I'm just like,
they've come
dude,
back from their 7th loan and they don't know what to do with them.
exactly, dude. Like we just gotta just get some guys off. Like Ben Chilwell's still with us, dude. Like,
Is he really? I thought he was
yeah,
at Leicester again or something.
I don't know. Maybe he went out on loan. I don't know where half these players are. I didn't even know that Kepa was still on our books. I thought he.
We have him now.
Yeah, I saw that. I was just looking at your players that you guys acquired. I was like, dude, Kepa finally got rid of him after all these.
I'm not mad at
too.
that though. I usually don't like the Chelsea players that we get because they're always like past prime, way too much spending stuff. But like, I actually don't mind him being on the team. He saved like 3 penalties in our friendly game and stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Not mad at it. But Liverpool and Manchester City obviously getting a lot better respectively. Also, when are we going to talk about the under 15 charges for Man City? Just putting that out there.
Yeah, where'd that go?
Been quite a while here, folks. So
they're just brushing it under the rug after everything else going on.
They're just going to get fined. I'm calling it right now. But
yeah, a little slap on the hand.
Liverpool, especially getting very very good signings. I like all 3 of these players. Etikite, I think I'm pronouncing that right, from Frankfurt, 90 million this past week. Frankfurt doing some very, very good business. They've kind of, by the way, kind of sprung up as the new Dortmund. They're selling players for almost every summer, 60, 70, 80, 90 million dollars here. Yeah. So he's a very, very good striker, really athletic, speedy. He'll be able to do a lot for them. He'll be going up there with Darwin Nunez. It was been a little bit of a disappointment, but he's still a solid player. Florian Wirtz, who is kind of the gem of the summer. That's huge coming from Bayer. Obviously, he was there last season. And then his teammate, also from Bayer, Frimpong, the left back, right back, really can play just anywhere along that back line. But he reminds me a lot of Nuno Mendes, Alphonso Davies type player back there. Just kind of Swiss Army knife, can do a lot. So Champs just getting a lot better here, and honestly might be even better than the players that they had last year playing those same positions. So there's definitely going to be scary. Barcelona getting Marcus Rashford on an initial loan. Apparently it's always been Marcus Rashford's dream to play for Barcelona. A little bit of an interesting one there, just being from Manchester and having United in town, but obviously things not going too well there in the last couple of years. And then Luka Modric finally going to AC Milan, becoming official this past week as well after he finished his time with Madrid in the Club World Cup. So what do you guys say about some of these other big time names moving teams, and I guess get your opinion a little bit on the Barcelona one specifically and getting Marcus Rashford?
Yeah, just touching on the Liverpool, like obviously they're just grabbing everybody from the Bundesliga apparently. But I mean, if you think about it, they're going to be just so much better anyways, because this is the first like full off season where Slot gets to get his guys. Like obviously last season, I mean, Liverpool just had a fantastic roster that Klopp left him. So he obviously did what he could with that, and he just won the Premier League. And they went out in penalties to the eventual winner of the Champions League in PSG. So I don't think they're going anywhere for a while. Liverpool is just super well run. Obviously, they have the coach for the future after Klopp left. These signings are huge, especially the Verts one. I love what you said about Marcus Rashford and like his dream move was to Barcelona. I think after you play with Manchester United for the past 5 years, anywhere other than Manchester United is your dream move. He could have
Yeah,
freaking gone to
unfortunately.
Southampton and would have been like, yeah, my boyhood club. I always wanted to play here. Like anything to get out of Manchester United. But
Yeah,
I think I
unfortunately.
don't know. This is a little bit of a weird one to me. Obviously, they have wingers. They have Lamine Yamal. They got Rafinha.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to play up top a little bit more with Lewandowski getting older, but he is
Yep.
much more of a winger. So maybe it's just kind of solidifying like depth behind those wingers. I don't know. This move's a little weird to me. And then Modric, I was thinking about this when you were talking. Who was your midfielder, Arsenal's midfielder? He went to Leverkusen and now he's with AC Milan too.
Chaka.
Chaka.
Yeah. Granit
Yeah,
Chaka.
he signed with AC Milan, dude. So we lose.
Interesting. I hadn't
We
heard that one
lose.
yet.
Oh, I'm forgetting names right now. It's getting late. But AC Milan
Reinders.
Reinders to Manchester City, and then we grab Modric and Xhaka, who are like way older than him, and I'm just like,
Right.
wow, we just got older. Like, sure, maybe back in the day, like in their prime, like this is a crazy midfield, but Modric can't even play 90 minutes. He wasn't even playing
No.
90 minutes at Real Madrid. Like,
He was
I don't
kind of
know.
that
It's
super sub, but
yeah, it's an interesting move for sure for AC Milan getting older, but who knows? Maybe it works out in Serie A. I don't know.
yeah, Modric. I know that this was more of like an emotional move for him because
Mm,
his favorite player growing up played for AC Milan. It was kind of always his dream to play there.
gotcha.
Obviously, after he's put in a full career at Madrid, playing his last year or two, I wouldn't even be surprised if he just retires after this year after he plays one season there.
Right.
Just something that he wanted to do. Go to
Miami will
go to
buy
the
him.
big stadium there, but Chaka, I'm a little bit confused by that. They just may be like trying to cut wages a little bit, getting some older players just because they don't have Europe this year, and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of seeing what they're able to do with maybe a little bit more aged roster here. But
Yeah.
yeah, Marcus Rashford, a little bit of a weird one there. It's always weird when British go to the La Liga in Spain. I just feel like that's not just not a
Yeah.
fit. Usually, obviously Jude Bellingham's the exception, but don't see a lot of British guys going down there. And yeah, the fit is super weird too, just because I don't know, like what's in it for either side. Like Barcelona, I guess get a depth piece, but
Yeah.
Rashford, you feel like he'd want to go somewhere to like kind of revitalize his career, and doesn't really seem like he might not get that there. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I mean,
But
it is a loan, so it's not like they outright bought him and
no,
like he's there for 3 years.
it's
But
a loan to buy. I think it's like
gotcha.
you're there on an initial loan, but like it's kind of agreed upon that you're gonna be there.
Yeah, it's just a weird one.
buying him.
Weird one for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. But last thing we'll touch on, just because I feel like we kind of made this like a weekly occurrence now. The Messi tracker here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we see it in our news all the time just because he plays here, and basically every news outlet that has anything to do with soccer over here is tracking his every step, every movement. But he sits out the All-Star game here in the MLS, and obviously MLS has put in place a rule where if you sit out the All-Star game, you are automatically suspended for the next game. That's kind of similar what the NBA are doing, just trying to create incentives for people to play in the All-Star game. For a while, there was a kind of radio silence. I'm not really sure if that was gonna, that was gonna happen or not. And then this morning, I think, or this afternoon, they said that Messi and Jordi Alba, his teammate, are going to be suspended for the next game against Cincinnati, which actually has some weight, just because the last game they played against Cincinnati last, I think July 16th or 17th, lost 3-0. And I think the guy that Messi's kind of going up against for the MVP, Evander from Cincinnati, had a hat trick.
Oh,
So
wow.
they're playing Cincinnati again here. I think it's tomorrow. So it's a pretty big game for Messi and company to miss. So what do you guys say about Messi here? Skipping the All-Star game, do you think that's good for his brand? Do you think he doesn't care? Do you think what do you think about that and the whole MLS part of it too?
Yeah, I mean, Messi's just doing what he wants at this point, I guess. Like, if he doesn't want to play a game, he doesn't play a game. If he doesn't want to show up, he doesn't show up. yeah, I don't know. I
He
jokingly
probably
said
doesn't
that.
even care about the MVP. He knows they're gonna get it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably all scripted out already. He's just like, yeah, I could like play 3 games and still win the MVP because everyone's kissing my feet. But
Literally what he did last year, bro. He played
yeah,
like 7 games, got a couple
well,
goals. Oh yeah, MVP.
the season that he even got to Miami, and it was like he played in the stupid like MLS versus Liga MX
Yeah, the
Cup or
Leagues
whatever that
Cup.
thing is,
Yeah.
and Miami ended up winning that, and he was like second in MVP voting, even though he played like a third of the season, and they didn't even make the playoffs. And I was just like, what are we doing, MLS? What are we doing? But yeah, I don't know. I feel like every day now there's a story coming out where it's just like, yeah, Messi's not doing this or Messi's not doing that, and I'm just like at some point it's got to be like ruining his reputation a little bit, right? Like
It's
us,
like, why isn't he playing the All-Star game, bro? Like, it's
yeah,
just
like
like just
just to,
play.
yeah, and like I'm
Getting
the
paid a
fact that
gazillion dollars, bro. Like, you're literally
right,
the reason people are coming to watch MLS. So, like,
yeah.
just go.
Yeah, because he's not injured, right? Like there was no reason to skip
No.
the game. It was just like basically him and Jordi Alba were just like, "No, we don't want to play,"
Yeah.
and so they didn't. So yeah, just an interesting turn of events, and kind of like what you were saying, it would have been really, really wild if MLS came out and were like, "Well, we're rewriting the rules so they
Right.
don't have to miss the next game because
So crazy.
it's Messi."
Dude.
Like they wouldn't have said that, but we all would have known why they did that. It's just
They're like, oh, there
ridiculous
was
at
a
this
there was a
point.
secret injury that he actually didn't disclose, and that's why he missed. Right.
So wild. It's infuriating and frustrating at this point.
Yeah.
Oh
It
well.
just feels like you were saying, every week there's some new Messi story, and it's just I don't
Every
know.
week.
It's crazy. But
Getting a BR freaking notification every day, and it's like, yeah, Messi decided not to show up to freaking the game today until halftime, but no one's batting an eye because it's Messi and he owns world football. Like,
right.
all
Well,
right,
I
cool.
saw in his most recent game, I think I sent it to you maybe, but it's just every game, bro. There's a clip of him like just getting into a spat
Just
with players,
crash.
just crashing out, getting into it with the refs. Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
like
It's just
headbutting other players and stuff like
yeah,
that.
dude. Like, why? Like, it's just I don't know what I don't know if he's just insecure about his image, or like he just feels like he needs to, like he should be, like I've been saying on the pod for a while, he should be on his swan song, should be on his retirement burger league, like whatever. Where he shows up, bags a couple free kick goals, and goes home to his $1 million whatever in Miami and chills. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what he'd be doing, but
absolutely.
yeah, it is what it is. But little update on the Champions League and Europa qualifiers, just because I care. All the Romanian teams are either still in it or have won their first leg ties. So
let's go.
Go Romania. So that's all I have to say about that. But maybe
Sammy's
next
first
week.
land.
That's right. Maybe next week, when we still have a little bit of a dead time, we might bring you a little like Ronaldo versus Messi debate or something a little bit more heavy.
We ain't watching preseason NFL. Get that garbage off.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be watching any of that. So maybe we'll bring you a little debate episode, or maybe something a little bit different.
We don't disagree very much. We do need that. We need a little animosity in the podcast. Maybe that's why we haven't blown up. We're just too nice.
With all the majors done, NFL preseason, the only thing going on, soccer just transfers.
Just got to start some beef on the podcast. That's what we got to do.
That's right. But that'll conclude the soccer portion of the podcast here. We'll wrap it up with a little golf and a little Scotty Scheffler here in just a moment.
All right, rounding off the pod with a little golf, and the last major of the year is behind us, and our boy Scotty Scheffler in dominant fashion taking the Open Championship in. I think we had a little discussion about this last week. It was Northern Ireland, and you thought it was in Scotland because it usually is. It usually is. So to defend Sam's point there, it usually is in Scotland, but this year it was in Northern Ireland. And the whole broadcast and every day was just hounding the fact that Rory lived an hour away. And I was just like, can we talk about somebody else, please? Can we please like just show Scotty just absolutely blowing the field away? Because going into the championship Sunday, dude, wasn't even close. It got close near the end just because I feel like Scotty was playing more just like maintain instead of like, but dude, like making the turn after the first 9 holes, he was up by like what, five or six strokes,
like 3
and just
or
never
4
looked
birdies
back.
in a row there. I was like,
There was there was like one moment where you were just like, he made double on, I can't remember what hole, but he made double.
Yeah.
And like everyone was like, "Oh, is this it?" And then he made like the
And then he
next like
followed it
three
up with
birdies.
a birdie. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
followed up with a birdie, just cold, calm, and collected. Scotty Scheffler, obviously, getting one step closer to that Grand Slam. But Sammy boy, I'm assuming you watched this. What were your feelings watching this weekend and watching Scotty take it home?
Yeah. I watched a lot on Saturday. Missed most of his round on Sunday just because I was in church, but did see the last 8 or 9 holes or so. Obviously, super impressive. I think when I kind of knew that Scotty was probably going to win was after I think it was day 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was leading. I think he was
Mm-hmm.
already like -8. I want to say, and usually like in Scotty Scheffler wins, like he usually doesn't do as good the first 2 days, and then the last 2 days is where he like turns into Scotty Scheffler and just blows everybody out. But the fact that he was in first place after like the second day, I was like, yeah, I don't think anybody's beating him. Just because, I mean, if he's already up then and he plays his best golf on Saturday and Sunday, like no one's gonna catch him. And
Right.
sure enough, like going into Sunday, I think he had a 5-shot lead going
Mm-hmm.
in, so it was just kind of a containing thing, like you were saying. He did have a double bogey, but like you were saying, just he followed it up with several birdies, so he wasn't sweating it by the end, and he's just had some really good shots that I thought were really impressive on the day. So, but yeah, I am really glad that Rory lost. I thought everybody was hyping it up way too much as they usually do.
Dude, so much.
Um, Bro, like I don't mean to come off as a Rory hater because I am, but like, why do people love this guy so much? Like, I understand he won like the career Grand Slam or whatever last in the Masters, but
Mm-hmm.
before that, bro, he hadn't won in like 10 years. A
Yeah.
freaking major in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand the hype around this guy every time. Like, literally, Scotty Scheffler is one major away from tying Rory at from for total majors, and
Mm-hmm.
Scotty's been on the
Right.
tour like what 3 years, like
Yeah.
So, but no, it was great to see Scotty win the Open. Obviously, his comments before and after about I just love that he was like, yeah, this isn't like my favorite thing. This isn't the thing that fulfills me the most, and just goes out there and destroys everybody. Like,
Right.
I absolutely love to see that. Obviously, all the stuff afterwards with him hugging his wife and all the son videos and pictures and stuff is obviously super special and stuff too. So couldn't happen to a better guy. So love to see it.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to touch on that because we had it in the doc last week, but we were running like really, really late, so we ended up not talking about it. So we could probably talk about it a little bit now, just because we are both Christians, and just from what Scotty said and just how open he is, he professes to be a Christian as well, and just his comments leading up to the tournament were so great. Like I think I sent it to a bunch of people because I was just like, this guy's at the top of the world and he gets it. And I think the biggest comment that he made that especially hit me was he was just like, the day that I'm a bad father, like this game's making me a bad father, is the last day I play golf. Like how his everything isn't the fact that he's on top of the world. He's ranked number one in the world, the pinnacle of the sport that he loves to play. Yet he finds his identity and his purpose in other things like his family. And I know he didn't say it explicitly, but like, I mean, he finds his identity in Jesus and just
Yeah,
being a
that's what I was gonna say. He
Christian.
didn't say it explicitly there, but he kind of implied it.
He definitely implied it. And I know you don't watch as much YouTube golf as I do, but he played around with one of my favorite YouTube golfers and they actually talked about that. And he was just like, yeah, it's everything to me. Like, that's what keeps me grounded. That's what keeps me from getting too high, too low. And then on top of that, he knows that he wouldn't be there if it wasn't for God just blessing him with the ability to do it. And then obviously, you got to take that talent that God's given you and work hard. But, at the end of the day, God allows you to have the life that you have. And whether you're like us trying to make it big or you are making it big, keeping it focused on him is the main thing. I don't know if you have any more to say about that, but I just wanted to kind of touch on that since, we like to wear that on our sleeves.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it makes him a lot more likable, at least in my eyes. I think, before I've kind of gotten on this golf kick the last 2 years, like I kind of always, I would see little blurbs about him, like before he even like got big, where he is now. And it was obviously all good stuff that you want to hear, about his faith and about his family and stuff. The one that kind of made the rounds was, I think it was probably 2 years ago now, before maybe one of the Masters. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he said something similar to what he said before this last press conference. He was like, I think it was when he was his daughter. Wow. His wife was expecting their son, and it was like around the Masters or maybe something like that. And
Yeah.
she was about to give birth, and people were asking him about it. I was like, what happens if she goes into labor? It's like, I'm leaving the golf course. Like, I'll have no choice. Like, I don't care. And I obviously
Yeah.
made the rounds. So before I even knew that Scotty Scheffler was necessarily like the number one golfer, is going to be one of the greatest of our generation, I liked him. Like, if you asked me what golfer I liked, it was like Scheffler and Fowler kind of thing. But it's cool, super cool to see him kind of follow up on that too. Like, it's kind of funny to see some of the other reactions around too. Like, some of the reporters didn't really know how to take him. And it kind of rubbed some people the wrong way. It's like, oh, well, people work their whole lives to get into the position that you are, and they never get there. You're taking it for granted or whatever. And it's usually just the short-sighted people, or the people that maybe don't necessarily have the perspective that Scotty has with his faith in his family. They don't have that, and they're just like, everything's about the sport, and then like they don't have anything to be like, oh, well, maybe the pinnacle of golf isn't necessarily what, the best thing in life. So obviously it's super cool to hear him say that and stuff, and you just root for the guy even more when he has comments like that. And he's also a Dallas Cowboys fan, so I love to hear that as well. So.
Yeah, you wanna take that away? He had some comments on the Cowboys this past week.
Yeah, I saw something this morning. Apparently, he said that he would absolutely trade one of his majors for a Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl victory to end that drought. So, gotta love the guy. I mean, what more can you ask, as far as I'm concerned?
Dude, he's
for a
just one of
golfer,
us. That's what I love so much about him. He's just one of us. Like, I mean, just the guy's through and through Texan. Just loves his Dallas Cowboys. Loves playing golf. Loves his family and loves God, obviously.
Yeah.
But
And like, I don't know. He's kind of like, I don't want to say Jokic, but that was some of the comparisons that he was getting, as far as like not being committed to the sport, quote unquote, even though they're literally at the top of their sports. But
right.
what I was gonna say was like, just the fact that he doesn't, I don't know, I guess he just doesn't care as much as other people do, and yet he's still the best at it. Is just kind of incredible. So
Yeah,
it's just
I
really
think
good to watch.
it's just hard for people to like even think about like not caring but like still putting effort into something. Like, I mean, you and I do it every day, just to a smaller extent. Like, I mean, we know that we're not just working for ourselves, we're working for something bigger. And so like at our jobs that we don't like, we don't even like our jobs,
Yeah.
like,
And
for most of the time. So
right.
and
And
yet we
even
still wake up and work and like work to the best of our abilities, even though we don't like our job. And like, so I mean, it's definitely easier when you do like your job, but it's not what fulfills you and your purpose in life.
yeah, it's just funny that like him and Jokic both, they treat it such like a job almost. Where like you see Jokic after winning the championship, he's like, oh, I have parade after, like I need to go home or whatever.
I need
And
to go buy
Scotty kind of was
horses.
the same thing. Like they asked him about, oh, are you gonna enjoy Port Rush or whatever for a couple hours here? He's like, no, we're getting on the plane like immediately.
We're headed back
We're
right
out
away.
of here. So it's been a good time, but see you guys later, kind of thing. So
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely,
relatable
absolutely.
stuff there. So
It's so relatable, so relatable. But little comparison here. I thought this just is a wild stat. I know a lot of people are comparing him to Tiger Woods. I
yeah.
obviously didn't grow up in that era. If you look side by side, like the majors and their wins and just yada yada, I think Scheffler statistically is getting to the point where he's a little better than Tiger. But I think just the pure dominance of Tiger. Again, I didn't grow up watching Tiger. I caught him at the tail end. Obviously rooted for him when he won. I think it was the 2019 Masters after coming back after his accident. That was huge. But I just think the dominance that Tiger had, like for like a certain amount of time, I still think it's like,
I mean, if
Scotty has to be number one for 10 years or something like that just to overtake Tiger being, holding number one in the world for so long. But between Tiger Woods' first major and his fourth, I believe, fourth major, 1,197 days. Scotty, between first major and fourth major, 1,197 days to the
can't make it
just
up.
can't make it up, can't write this stuff. So
Yeah, I
go ahead.
think I mean, obviously I didn't grow up with Tiger either. Like, only really been a golf fan for a few years. But if you look at the stats, like Tiger's major championships and how close they are together, like he won them all in like a 5, 6, 7, 8 year span there. So like the level of dominance was obviously unprecedented. And I think Scotty could, if he wants to, if he really has a desire to, I think he could get to that level. Like if he puts it in for the next 10 years and like we were talking about, like if he has the level of commitment that he has now, even with the other things going on in his life, I think we could see, when it's all said and done, numbers close to Tiger's, but all be if he can stay healthy and if he really, really wants to do it, because he's definitely, there's Scotty Scheffler, huge gap, and then everybody else. So we'll see.
Yeah, and he's so dominant so quick. I mean, he's only 28. I think he turns 29 like next
So
month or something like that.
level-headed, yeah.
And it's golf, dude. You can play forever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Phil Mickelson's still out here playing in Opens and US Opens and majors and stuff, and it's just like just crazy. One more thing I wanted to talk about, because it's another one of my my favorite golfers at the moment, Bryson DeChambeau. He had some interviews that were really cool just about not quitting, and I think it was just a good message for like just people in general, but just younger players. But the first round he shot like, and I didn't look this up, but I think it might be one of the worst rounds in an Open championship, but he shot a 78, which is 7 over par in the first round, and everyone had him out, not making the cut. Next day, kind of threw his playbook out, shot 65, which was 6 under, and squeaked in, made the cut, battled back on the second day, which showed like some pretty high level resilience for sure. He even said in an interview after the second day, after the first round, he was like, I just want to go home. He was done with Portrush. But I thought that was just cool. I didn't look it up, but I think it actually might be like one of the best comebacks from like the worst first round to the second round making the cut, which is impressive. And then he was right up there. I think he tied 10th for the overall tournament. So
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure in the fourth round he shot like 7 under too. So like if he didn't
shot
have
a 64, even better.
That's what I'm saying. So like if he didn't have the disastrous first day, he would have been right up there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he was just average on that first day, I mean, he would have been pushing Scheffler probably more than the other guys did.
I mean, even if he shot like 70, dude, like, I mean, he would have been right there. But just shows the level of golfer he is, but also a good human as well. I know I watch a lot of his YouTube videos. It's cool to see him outside.
I don't know. He was getting on that ball watcher pretty good on that.
I did see that. A lot of people were jumping on him for that. So I did see that. I was like, ooh, not good. But
I feel like it's his personality. Like maybe he's just joking with him, but I don't know enough. So.
Maybe I don't know him a whole lot other than the YouTube videos I watch. So obviously you're putting a face on for anything. But with that being said, I think that's a pod, Sammy.
There's a pod.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys coming, tuning in, not coming out. That'd be weird if you came to our houses. Tuning in on this Friday night. I hope you all enjoy your weekend. If you guys could, check us out on all our platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Like and subscribe, review, do all the things that would really help us out. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.